Today at Deutsche Auto Parts, we're going to be going over check engine lights on VW and Audi models. Okay, so before we get into specifics on check engine lights, let's go over just a brief overview of check engine lights and why they come on. Check engine lights can come on for a multitude of reasons. Basically, it's just an indication that something is going on with the engine. This is a common misconception that people have in regards to check engine lights, and they go to places like AutoZone where they have free fault scanning, where they go there and get a fault code scanned. And a lot of times AutoZone has printouts where it'll tell you, a suggestion for a part to replace. But understand something, that when they do that, that is not a diagnosis of your vehicle. That is an idea of a direction to go in, and there's other ways to identify specifically how you do that. Now, keep in mind, this is why professionals have jobs and why technicians exist, because they diagnose the vehicle to ensure they're getting drilled down to the most finite ability of theirs to make sure they're diagnosing the car properly. So, in this particular instance, we're going to be using our OBDeleven software, which is a device that is a scan tool for VW and Audi specifically, but it uses an Android platform. So we're going to scan the fault codes in our engine and just look at that briefly to see what that looks like. Okay, so with our OBDeleven software, we're going to go into our scan. Now this obviously has a couple different options. You can scan all the control modules, or in this case, we're just going to go into the control unit for the engine itself and see what the fault codes are for that specific control module. That's going to give you an idea of why the check engine light came on in the first place. Alright, so as we go into our engine control module, we are then going to go into the fault section. Now as we take a look here, we have two different fault codes, a cylinder 1 misfire detected, and then ignition coil A secondary circuit. That is going to lead towards something related to the cylinder 1 ignition coil. Now we also have a video that talks about diagnosing a misfire, which I'll link to, and you can check that out in more detail. But let's back up for a second just to get an idea of specifically what's going on. When we go into here, if we take a look at the bottom right hand of our screen, we can actually erase the fault codes in the vehicle. Now, we're going to go ahead and do that. And in this particular instance, because we created this check engine light, we're going to erase the faults and they're not going to come back. But it's important to understand that we created these fault codes for this particular purpose so you can see what faults happen. But if you just erase your check engine light with a scan tool like this, your car is not fixed, and you actually have to identify the problem, repair it, and then you can erase the faults, and then you will not have a check engine light come back on. It's important to note that even if the check engine light comes on and then turns off, a fault code will be stored in the system, and there's still something going on with the vehicle. It could be sporadic, it could be something that is going to go away and then come back, but understand that once your check engine light comes on, there is something going on with the vehicle. It is not urgent always. Keep in mind that only time you're going to need something that's going to be urgent in VW and Audi models is if there is something flashing. Check engine light flashing generally means misfire. You should not drive your car under those circumstances. Any other light, oil pressure light or anything like that, you also should not drive the vehicle either. Hopefully this video gives you a broad overview of check engine lights and how they work on VW and Audi models. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more like it.